Hello, I'm going to show you how to clean up a similarity scan or a Vericite scan within the gradebook. As you can see, Haywood Floyd, a student in this course, submitted an essay. The essay scored an 86% similarity score. The essay is your standard APA formatted essay as you see here. There's nothing fancy. It has a title page, body text, level 1 and 2 and 3 headings, and at the very end, if you keep scrolling, you will find references. So let's clean up the report and find out the actual Vericite score. We notice this 86% is really high. Is it really right? Is it accurate? Well, let's find out. To begin the filtering process, which hopefully will get the score to the correct score, click the similarity link next to the 86%. A tab will open. The tab will show the user interface for Vericite. The left-hand side has the paper that's being scanned. The right-hand side has all the sources appearing in the paper. Also, you should notice the sources are color-coded. White or plain formatting indicates almost none or no detectable plagiarized sources. This orange color has a medium probability of possibly being plagiarized from somewhere. The red blocks are pieces of text or patches that have come directly from, or nearly directly from, other sources. Remember, we are here because we believe the 86% similarity score, or plagiarism score, those phrases are used interchangeably, is too high, or it's incorrect. What we need to do is look through the document on the left and figure out what could be plagiarized and what's not plagiarized. We have to include sources and exclude them accordingly. As you can see, the scanner picked up on the title page here. So what I want to do is I want to exclude it. Doing that is simple. All I do is I click the orange bar right here. Then I tell it to exclude this text over here. As you can see, the scanner crosses this out and turns it kind of this weird pale gray. Stuff that's been crossed out and excluded by this method will not appear in the scan results. Let's see what happens to the scan result when we update it. So now click Update and let the scanner recalculate the plagiarism or similarity score. As you can see, the score has reduced by 3 points, down to 83. We have excluded the title page, but now let's assume that this block of red text, which is red because the scanner believes it to be a high match for similarity or plagiarized, is actually incorrect. What we can do is click on the red bar to its left and start excluding the text, like this. You click each sentence you want removed from the scanner's attention, and you just keep excluding it until you have excluded the entire section. As you can see, this whole part is now gray and lined out. And let's update our report to see the result. It'll take a moment, but after that moment, you'll have a brand new score. As you can see, removing this section from the scanner's attention reduced the score from 83 to 78. Often, going line by line through a paper and excluding things can be highly inefficient or just downright annoying and frustrating. Sometimes it is smarter to look at the source column and say, hey, which sources should not be included in the scan results? For this example, let's pretend this last source, whatever it is, should not be in the scan. We uncheck it, and you will see that it appears in excluded sources. Let's exclude another one. Let's take this one. These two excluded sources will not show up in the plagiarism score. After you're done choosing all the sources you think should be excluded, click Update and the new total will appear in the upper right-hand column. Sometimes this takes a moment. As you can see, excluding those two sources dropped it just a few points down to 74%. You may be wondering how the scanner tells you whether or not to exclude a source. A lot of it is just instinct and experience. As you do this a few times, your instincts and insight into how students plagiarize will sharpen, and you'll become a better judge of whether or not a certain source was plagiarized and whether a source should appear in a scan, or whether we should exclude it or not. However, Vericite does not tell you what has been plagiarized because no computer can do that. All it can tell you is how similar a document is to an online document. And that's okay. That's all we can really expect from computers at this time. However, we can exercise some judgment. When we look at these sources, these numbers to the right indicate the number of times or the instances that this source has appeared in the document. So as you can see, the first source has 56 instances of appearing in this document in some fashion. The next one has 56 as well, and the other ones have a lesser number, like 5, 3, 3, 1. These smaller ones are less likely plagiarized. The author less likely took material from these smaller number sources, while they took material from the bigger number or larger number sources. So if you really want to clean up a scan and be really draconian about it, it's okay to take out things that have 5 or less instances, like you see here. And this allows the scanner to focus on the materials that have the highest impact on the plagiarism score. So let's do that and see. As you noticed, something interesting happened. It still says, yeah, these two top sources are sources of concern. However, other little smaller ones are cropping up. The one instances, the 3 instances, another one. These are not all that critical, so we can take these out. And you do this a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times to make sure you really weed out the smaller ones that can accidentally influence a score. And I'm going to do it one more time just for good measure. I usually do it 3 or 4 times just to be careful. Okay, this is good enough. As you can see, we have 2 major sources that have been plagiarized, and these lesser ones, may or may have not been borrowed from. They're not essential to our analysis. But as we can see, from these 2 sources alone, large sections of the document have been plagiarized. And that's what we want to find out. That's the whole point of this scan. So after cleaning up this scan, we can say this. Hey, our actual score is 67%. It's dropped quite a bit from the original number. And we now know our 2 sources. After this, you download the report by printing it. Okay, you give it a moment. It will eventually kick out a PDF of the scan results. So you can work with the student on patch writing and other concerns. I paused the recording because this took a couple moments, but as you can see, the Vericite report can be printed out as a PDF to a file with no problems. My advice is to save the PDF after you clean up the scan, because this is the most accurate report of the similarity score possible. And if there's problems within the document or a code of conduct violation, you can use this with the school and with the student to help the student out.